Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun. You're going to help me pick some raid loot. We're going to be talking about raid loot, looking at raid loot, selecting free raid loot. You can too. I'll have more information about that if you don't know already about it. We've got a big weekend planned as well with bonuses and a lot of things happening inside of the game. Our newest Year of the Dragon gift kicked off this past week. Our VIP loyalty reward program gift kicks off on Sunday. And we just got cool things happening inside of the game with the launch of Drannor just a few weeks ago, really. And heading into a long holiday weekend for a whole bunch of us inside of the United States. So if you are celebrating Labor Day and have a 3-day weekend, maybe it's a good time to get in some DDO, huh? Well, we got 15% extra VIP XP for you if you're into that. And yeah, so that's really what we have going on. I thought we would focus a little bit on the Year of the Dragon gift and otherwise just quest in Drannor today. But there is one big piece of news, which is right at the end of this live stream. And the only reason it hasn't already happened is because I didn't want to do it while I was hanging out with all of you. I am going to be going live with the official Dungeons & Dragons online Discord. As soon as the show is done here at 5 o'clock Eastern today, I'm going to be sending out the links and opening that sucker up so you got the long holiday weekend to get settled in, get your group together, start chatting away, figure out how things work, help me totally blow up Discord, and probably take our Discord with it. But that's okay. It'll still be fun. It'll be really good. We have auto voice chat. So how this is going to work is, in theory, you are going to be able to create a voice chat room, send out a link to your friends, whether also on Discord or, you know, through party chat or something. You're all going to have to need to be signed up for Discord and stuff, but it's nothing to do with us, really. It's the tool we're using. Then you'll be able to go into that voice chat room, and when you're all done, you'll leave. That voice chat room will disappear, and people will be able to create as many as we end up needing. Is in theory how this is all going to work. And I've got server channels, I've got class channels, I've got creator and streamer, new player channels, I've got followable announcements, service news, and sales and promotions. And so for your Discords, whether they be guilded Discords, personal Discords, or whatever, you can follow that. And all the stuff that you're seeing, really, our launcher news feed, the DDO.com main page, most of the stuff also gets on the forums and Twitter and Facebook. It's going to be on Discord as well, and a post specifically for Discords. And I know there's a lot of DDO Discords out there that I think will be able to get really good use out of this. So when you join our Discord, make sure to hit follow on those announcements, service news, and sales and promotions channels, and should be a really good time. So, it does sound pretty cool. We're in the future of 2015. All right, I put this poll up. Let's see. I haven't, I'm sorry, I don't, oh, is this about the Bottle of Mist? Do you want the Bottle of Mist back? Yeah, I know people do. If I could snap my fingers and make it happen, I would do it. For you. It is on our agenda to have a way for players to be able to acquire that Bottle of Mist. Really need to pin some people down and say, yeah, okay, so every week on the live stream, people tell me that they want this thing. ETA on Caneth Crafting fix for level 34. So it's going to be, well, the Caneth Crafting should be... it'll be a future patch. This was work that needs to be above and beyond what we usually do for the level cap, just due to available resources. So, when the systems team has the time ultimately to update Caneth Crafting to support level 34, we will do so. I don't have an ETA for you. I couldn't tell you whether it'll be, say, 70, 71, but something like that. It's going to be in the relatively near future. And yes, Dan Donk, I know. So I think it's going to be a long time. I know that you're passionate on the forums about letting us know about the Monster Manual issue that you're experiencing, which is that after people true reincarnate, sometimes they lose the ability to reacquire things, particularly like the hit point totals. And that's really going to involve a fix that involves re-engineering some core parts of the Monster Manual code and experience. And it's work that is not insignificant and therefore has to be put into the same process as all the other priorities that need to take care of at once. And so it's going to be a little while before we're able to really take a look at that. But it's also not going to be an easy fix whatsoever. Sadly, I'm sorry. And it's going to involve multiple groups of people to get that resolved for you. All right. Because I think it's going to be engineering and systems, frankly. Alright. There we are. I've got the game audio. I'm hearing it myself, so let's go. What's another decade? Yep. Alright. So I am in a certain hall where heroes dwell. And I'm going to be speaking to a certain Zatharol here. Oh, and actually, then I'm going to log out and log back in. So I think I'm going to have to real quick swap cameras. I was going to do this before I went live. Okay, so we get the Raiders reward box, but I might as well, because this will show you the practice of how to do it. So, you've now claimed it, and now I'm going to log back out and log back in, and then it'll be in my inventory. So let me swap cams. Oh, sorry, due to the background music being too loud, well, I will take care of that as well. Thank you. So for a fix to correct an issue where the Monster Manual is not properly awarding new account-based awards following a character transfer to a different server. And it's one that a certain member of the Twitch chat right now, Dan Donk, who is probably making a name for themselves permanently on the forums by bringing it up every once in a while. So that's what's up. All right, I'm relogging in here. While I do that, let me bring up the page. What are we actually talking about? Alright, so we are talking about this year's Year of the Dragon gift. The latest gift that just kicked off this past Wednesday and is available through September 24th is a Draconic Raiders reward box. We've done a few Raiders reward boxes over the years, so you have some idea what to expect. But this is a brand new one. And there we are. And there's a list of items that you can take a look at and see what it is maybe you want to get. You only get one of these per game world, but you do get one per game world. And it's going to go, the box itself, well, we'll find out in just a second, but the box itself is bound to account. All the items are bound to character, and that's by design. So it'll go into the inventory of the first person you log into after speaking to Zatharol. So you saw I just spoke to Zatharol. Now I'm relogging back into Orion, and it'll be in my inventory. And then if I were to log into Sarlona on my first character there, I will get it in that person's inventory, etc., etc. And this is going to be happening through September 24th. Once the box is in your inventory, I think you can pretty much do whatever you want. I think technically, if you don't log into a world, but you have already unlocked it by speaking to Zatharol, you're okay. But I wouldn't do that. I would get the boxes in all the game worlds and then just set them aside for a rainy day, for when you want free when you want to reward yourself with free draconic loot. And so that's what we're talking about here today. This bow is unique as well. It's a brand new bow that is in this Draconic Raiders reward box. This is this time's. Okay, well, you've got everything. But it's also pretty sweet on its own right. So that's a new piece of art and a new legendary bow that people might be interested in. We also do have things like a couple of cosmetics. There's the one cosmetic of the legendary Sword of Shadow. There's the Creature Companion Certificate of the Violet Gelatinous Cubelet. And I know some people are really into that because that's a pretty difficult creature companion to get. You need to run the Loth Raid in order to get that one for Menace of the Underdark. So a lot of people don't have a lot of access to that particular item. And then if you want it, if you really got everything else as well, we do have 50 black pearls. That's an ingredient used for Isle of Dread crafting, which will give you a really nice boost forward as well. Alright, let me switch back to my game cam. I believe that once the box is in your inventory, you'll be able to open it up long term. That's how all of our other boxes like this have worked. So I would expect this one to operate the same. Alright, so here we are. There we are. Draconic Raiders reward box. Oh yeah, I'm going to turn down my audio. There we go. Put it there. Draconic Raiders reward box, bound to account. Double click to claim your rewards. You can then select from a list of raid items. And here we are. We have pages of things. Now, note that, and this is similar to a lot of our barter windows, some of these items are not displaying their minimum levels, but it's all raid loot, so you can check it in the wiki or whatever and figure out what it is. But a lot of this stuff is you know, nothing has changed from the regular version of the item itself. Yeah, so I'm not here to supersede Strimtom's advice in terms of the items. I would actually just leave it up to someone like him to do the video. I'm just showing you the stuff. Because we got the hand wraps, obviously not going to work for me. So for me, I am a two-handed fighter. Dragon Lord is probably what I'm gonna end up kind of basing things on, but we'll see here. Treason. Cobalt Guard is a pair of boots. That's actually pretty good. Quell effect to target enemy for 6 seconds, rendering them unable to cast divine spells. 50% chance of preventing the target from casting all spells for 3 seconds on a cooldown. Also Dispelling Guard. Insightful Magic Sheltering, Quality Magic Sheltering. That's a pretty hot set of boots. Yeah, that one also turns into an augment, someone is saying. Cloudburst may be what I end up going for, but that's only level 14, so probably not. But it is a great sword. It's a level 14 greatsword and a pretty good one, and one that looks cool. We've got the Hammer of Life, a two-handed maul as well. I would need to look on the min level of this, but I believe it's at least epic, right? There we go. Lightning Coil is a light mace. Brilliant Crescent, sickle. This is the bow. Eon, the Poisoned Rain. Accept Sentience. Level 31 is my understanding. Legendary Virulent Poison, 5d6 con damage. If your enemy fails a DC 100 fort save. It has Keen on it. Ranged alacrity 20% for ranged attack speed. And 76 poison damage on each hit with an orange and purple augment slot, and basically it's the Fey-twisted version of the Aeon, A-E-O-N, the Blazing Rain bow. So, related to old loot from Feywild that never made it out. But it's here now. Dream Spitter is a classic. Quarterstaff, mid-level 14. Quite nice. I use it on just about every quarterstaff user I've used at some point. Night Shard is not bad. It's a scimitar. Guided Sight. I don't know this one. It's Trinket. Symphony. Looks like a bard thing. Stormweaver's Napkin. It's another heroic item. Cloak of the Silver Concord. Battle Rager's Harness. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so many choices here, right? It's a bit of a choice paralysis. Also, that's a bummer that this thing keeps closing, I'm guessing, after 90 seconds or something like that. But it's probably a performance thing. Has to be such, but okay. I will just reopen it again and again until I decide. It's like, hey, if you really don't want anything, man, I'm just bailing. I'm out. I'm out. I don't know what I want. Kundaric Delving Boots are pretty good. I think I already have a pair, though, maybe. What am I currently using? Oh, I've got my Dodge Sheltering on there at the moment. Gauntlets of the Aggressor isn't bad either. I've got Gauntlets of Eternity on several characters, because, you know, me being Mr. Cleric. Dragon Mask I've got somewhere as well. I don't really use it, but... I already got a Sword of Shadow, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know if I have that, actually. Maybe that's what I should get. Because I think my armor isn't terrible right now, but it's the Bulwark of True Law. It was from really a prior life when I was a paladin, right? So, it really is not quite the armor for me these days, but I've got it on because of the bonus. So maybe that's what I should get. Although it is quite a bit less AC, so... I don't know. Maybe I should get the hammer. Or maybe I should actually get the... Actually, do I have the Violet Cubelet? I don't know if I do. I do not have the Violet Cubelet. At least not on Orion. Take the Sword of Shadow, everything else is pretty mid or niche. I mean, you're right, because I just need to think not just about this life, but about all future lives. So I suppose I should see if I already have one or not. Raid item decision stream? Well, only for a little bit. Only for a little bit, because I wanted to show it off and let you know that you could be doing this yourself. You can, in fact, be deciding which of these pretty sweet pieces of raid loot you want. Alright, what am I getting for quality feedback here? Let's see. Or questions. Will we have the first Lamania preview this Tuesday? Currently unknown. No. Well, okay. We'll just do that then. We'll take the Sword of Shadow. Even if I don't necessarily want it for this particular character at this particular moment, I will want it longer term. So let's, and I didn't need to jump down, but yeah, we'll do that. We'll take the Sword of Shadow. There we go. And it's particularly valuable because of its base damage and its exceptionally high crit range. It's great. It is a really nice sword. Takes a while to log into each server with 6 accounts. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So I think that once you're flagged with Zatharol, it'll probably flag your account for delivery of the item even after the time to acquire the account grant has passed. That is my current belief. I obviously have not tested this myself. So, and if I get the opportunity, I can ask, but I'm not sure. In general, the advice will be, well, pick it up and just do it. And get it done before the end of the period anyway, just so you don't have to worry about it. But I think the answer is you should be able to log in afterwards, as long as you've already done the work to pick up the box on, say, at least one server and gotten the grant from Zatharol. You should be just fine. So. And you probably just need the grant from Zatharol. It is always theoretically possible, Druid's Fire, that some item could get removed from the game. And by removing said item from the game, it would not be available on the list years from now when you opened up the Draconic Raiders reward box. Highly unlikely. Theoretically possible. So. I don't think we've ever done that. It's not to say it couldn't happen, but I don't think we've ever done that. Alright, so I got Portal 2 below, Seeds of Decay. So the one thing I forgot to do before I went live on stream today, because I was busy getting ready for the Discord, is I forgot to write down which quests I ran last week. And the reason that matters is I'm trying to just run one of all the quests until I get through the full cycle for the live stream. And so I want to, but I'm also playing off camera because I want the sagas and I want the quests and I want the loot, and I'm getting some of the sagas and loot. Actually, I haven't gotten one full done yet on Orient, which is why I'm doing this. But we're going to be heading over to Seeds of Decay and Portal 2 below. And I think Voices of the Dead is a long enough quest that I bet those two will take this rest of the stream. Maybe we won't even have that much time for it, but so the way to find it right now is basically east of the House of Gems, east of the House of Song, or kind of southeast of the House of Songs. Okay. You don't know anyone who's decided what to take yet? Well, that's the other thing, is don't feel too rushed, right? You've got plenty of time to decide what you want to take for this. So, there's no hurry. Make the right decision for you. But I'm doing it on stream, so I can regret my decision for years and years and years. Remember that time I got bullied into taking that stupid item on the live stream? Yeah. Actually, I didn't get bullied at all. I chose that item. I think, it's tricky. I don't know. I don't know. Some servers are going to get the cube. Some servers are going to get the cube. And some servers are going to get probably the runes, because I would need to look up the numbers, but isn't 50 about what you need to get most of this? To get one item upgraded? Am I incorrect about that? I can't remember what the numbers are, but I seem to recall it was something not entirely dissimilar to that. And if that's true, then, okay, where am I going? But that might be good too, because I could get outfitted on the dread items on kind of all my alts without having to do all the grinding and fighting those bosses. And that might, for me, because of the fact that I do want to run this content and get those items to some extent, but then they still wouldn't be upgraded. So, yeah, I don't know. So I guess I don't have one on Orion. I know I've got a couple of Swords of Shadow on various servers. We've offered it before in the Raiders boxes. So. Yes, I will do my daily dice, and you can see the dev hacks in action. Yeah, so let me see if I can look up that schedule here quick. I believe that for the raid we are probably looking more like not next week but the week after next. And I think it's really just due to timing and the amount of work that's being done and just other factors, right? Up to it including the long holiday weekend here. So I think it'll probably be the week after, rather than next week, on the raid preview. But it is something that'll be coming up here soon. As soon as it's ready is really when it's going to be. And when's it going to be ready? Well, we'll let you know. But I don't actually think it's going to be next week. Not today. Yes, work is currently very much underway on the Myth Drannor raid. Okay, so that'll be the kidnap. Yep, so if that's where the drow kidnappers are, that's Portal 2 below. So that's where I want to go. Okay. So the thing is, it's not which quests I've run, it's which quests I've run on the live stream. Because I do want to break up which quests I run and not end up running the same quests over and over on the show, right? And so I need to make sure that I'm breaking things up a little bit. And that's... And especially when we got 13 quests, I learned... I guess I really learned the last couple of expansions that you can't keep it straight in your head, so I need to write it down somewhere and do it that way. Alright. I'll go easy. 50 black pearls takes maybe 15 minutes to get with rares? I don't think that's true. Is that actually true? 15 minutes? 15? Really? I don't recall it taking 15 minutes, but perhaps I'm incorrect. Is SSG starting up a Discord? Yes, in exactly 29 minutes.
Path of the Drow, deep into the Underdark. Occasional signs of their passage show that you're getting close. The path ends abruptly in a sheer drop-off. It seems the only way to go is down.
Oops. Do I have an ice cream to recommend? I do. I really like the frozen Twix ice cream bars that you can get at most grocery stores in the United States. They're kind of long and skinny and full of ice cream and somehow still soft caramel. I'm sure it's deadly chemicals is the answer, and it's amazing. So I rolled a 66 and a 12. I did get a potion, long-lasting potion of 12 magic resist. It's not the worst. I love that my level 32 characters can consume daily dice again. I really do. Appreciate that. Also, our coupon this week was pretty hot. 5 lasting elixirs of supreme ability. Don't let those sleep. Take that. Absolutely. And use this week's free coupon, which is, I believe, be buff. But still, yes, don't miss that one.
A shimmering magical door forms on the dais.
I will be posting the invitation everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, here we go. Never mind. I didn't need to do that. I will be posting it on the game launcher and the forums and the website, social medias. I'll even let my mom know. But yes, as soon as the only reason it's not open right now is we wanted to open it up today, but I knew I had the Lord of the Rings side live stream at noon and this one at 4 o'clock, and as everyone's joining and hyping things up, I don't want to have to be sitting here on the live stream. It just wouldn't make sense. So.
You notice a small green leaf lying on the ground. One of the captives must be marking their path.
So, as soon as I am done with this, I will be doing that.
A massive umber hulk claws its way out of the cave floor. Its insect-like eyes tracking your every move.
I'm really looking forward to it, though. I think, this is an official Discord, and the opportunity I think it presents for... Because I think a lot of us are already using Discord for our public groups, our guild nights, where we're running raids and everything. I mean, I don't want to be too presumptive, but a lot of people are using Discord these days if you want to hang out with others and have voice chat. And being able to do that with the entirety of the DDO community in one place, not that that hasn't already existed, say, in unofficial Discords, but to be able to do that on our official one, I think is going to be hot stuff, and is going to be real nice for the quality of our voice chat that players will be able to utilize, if you want to utilize it. Our voice chat isn't going anywhere. It's been undead for at least a decade. So... So, we see this a lot on the Lord of the Rings Online side, where we have some members of the development team who like to utilize community-run Discords and have conversations with them. And it's a double-edged sword in that it the people who see it and have those conversations and the devs themselves really do get a lot out of it. But it can also be a very frustrating experience for people who don't want to have to pay too close an attention to, say, someone's community run, basically private Discord, run by whether it's a live streamer or someone else. And so that is part of why I like this idea of it being an official Discord. Not that the development team can't post elsewhere. I expect they will continue to do so. But especially on the DDO side here, it's a really good opportunity to get us together in a place where we can have some of those conversations in a way that, yeah, if you still hate Discord and you only want everything to be on the forums, it's not necessarily going to solve your problem. But it's going to be at least a little, I think, better in the long run. Okay. I would say, in general, no, Yob Sagath. I mean, if you just think about the reality of being one systems developer, for example, sitting there in the Discord, versus what could, we'll see, could be thousands of people calling out your name, wanting you to pay attention to their suggestions and bugs and everything. I think the reality is, for a lot of the actual development team, we're probably going to end up being in a position where we mostly have to mute notifications. Now, I won't. It's my job. But I think if you're a Steel Star or Knockback or someone like that, and it's up to them, but my expectation is a lot of them will simply have to have most of those notifications turned off in order to not go insane in terms of the amount of requests for their time and eyeballs that they would get, on top of their ability to really focus during the workday and get their work done without constantly being dragged over to the Discord. So we'll see. We'll see. There may be some instances where people can be like, hey, yo, dev, you should do this, and the dev will be like, yeah, okay, maybe. But I think in general there shouldn't be an expectation that you can just sort of use it as your personal platform to contact devs 24/7. I just don't think that that is a realistic thing to expect. That said, we have all sorts of options there. I mean, we'll see. We've got, there's the something called an event space. It's essentially just a video audio room where you can set up gameplay and things. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there if we end up wanting to go that direction, so we'll see. But I would expect, yes, it's not the place to just jump into the Discord and say, like, hey, Steel Star, fix monks, And certainly don't at Steel Star about that stuff, for reals. But I know there is definitely interest among the team to have this Discord, see it take off and do its thing, and have a pretty... So I do think that we will see some developer participation there. Okay, that's not where I need to go. I need to go... Where do I need to go? Yes, that is where I need to go. Right? Yeah, here we go. Mike... Oh. Yes, right? Nope. So what am I missing? Am I missing a handprint or something, or is this just a dead end? Let me consider this. I guess this is the one case where my wings have gotten in the way. I'm just gonna say this is nothing. Yeah, okay, no, it has to be. All right. Well, let me do this. First time I have felt like I had to. Okay. Yes, here we are. There we are. I miss you already, Blue Draconic Wings. My neighbor is mowing the lawn, so if you're hearing a lawnmower, not much I can do about that. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. Person must have got off work early. I don't know why people are talking about sunglasses at night. I have the Corey Hart classic. Isn't that Corey Hart, I think? Do I still work at home or in the office? Well, clearly I work at home. But, yes, we basically all work from home these days. There are some people who work in mobile offices, you know, related to whatever. And there are a few people who work in an SSG office proper. But most of us are working from home these days. Occasionally, people like to call out my peeling wallpaper in the back, and to that, all I can say is, you know, it's there because I like it. It's true. Do I care if you don't like it? Clearly not.
Fury fills the Drow Leader's eyes. You're hurting my pet. Prepare to die.
I do have some kind of long-term project of eventually bringing it down. This kind of wallpaper is really throughout the house when I purchased it. But I've never really gotten to renovate the living room yet, and so that's why it's up. But I've actually kind of grown to appreciate it, so like I say, I kind of don't care.
Captives give quiet thanks as they are released. They quickly disappear into the mushroom stalks, heading back to the surface. You've dealt with the raiders and freed the captives. Time to leave the Underdark and return to the ruins of Myth Drannor.
Oh, let me see if I can get you. So the next Lamania preview is currently in process. We don't have a formal date, I believe, to announce today. But let me see if I can get you an estimation. you say, it looks like we're not looking at next week, because next week is a bit of a shorter week, and it is the week we are really focusing on getting the raid up and running. And I think we're probably then looking at something like around September 10th is probably the most likely scenario of when we're looking at a window for our next raid preview. Alright, so if that's the Drow one, then the Seeds of Decay. I had a little bit of a hard time finding this one last time I was running around the landscape, but Seeds of Decay is basically straight west, so.
I certainly don't miss the insects. Birds. I long to hear their songs again. They were treasured pets before the city's fall. Now they've void the ruins, ravenous creatures that live in. Today, the only song heard in the streets of Drannor is that of desolate wind.
Okay. Call up, look at my map here. About little yet to the west. All right. Okay. There we are. All right. This one's a little tricky to find because it's sort of up in the tree there. Yes, I agree. Sardonic Fox, it is intended that that is supposed to be visible on the map, is my understanding, and it was not successful in doing so in this week's patch. We did have a patch this week as well.
We conclude that this place has something to do with Moanda, the dead god of rot and decay.
Ew, it's all gross.
The way forward is blocked by rubble from a ceiling collapse. You'll have to find another way around.
You know, it's true that our map system is somewhat archaic. I mean, you know, there are parts of this game that are based on older things and some based on newer things, and the map system is, in fact, a bit of an older system, is it not? Particularly, we did, I believe, fix the issue with the one quest that went out with launch, where going to different levels was resetting the map, and so we're not having that same issue we had at launch. But if there are other ones, well, I've been keeping an eye on to see if there are any resetting map issues that I need to send in a bug report on. And so far I haven't run into any since we did the fix.
This is a seed of Moanda, seething with vile energy.
I mean, you could definitely have a much more dynamic mapping system. I mean, clearly you could, but we kind of have what we have, you know. Maybe someday, maybe. I wouldn't count on it. Well, the issue where it was not, the fog of war was not persisting upon vertical adjustment within a dungeon is something that often has to get fixed on a per dungeon basis. But my understanding is we did do that, and none of them currently in Myth Drannor are still having that issue. The House of Gems is still having that issue. Well, as you saw on that saga completion, I haven't run House of Gems yet, so as soon as I do, I will let you know. Okay. But yes, that too will probably then be a manual fix, and we do have another patch set for, again, not next week due to the short nature of the week and the work that's currently underway, but I would expect to see within a few weeks here that we'll have a patch as well. And then we got Night Revels coming up without too long from now. That work is underway on that as well. There was a question about whether the loot would be updated to 34. The answer to that is no. Not for Night Revels. If you look at the way the level banding has worked for Night Revels historically, it goes by 4 level increments, and we did update to 32, so I would expect it not to get another level bump until we are ready for 36. It's not to say new things won't happen in Night Revels, but the loot getting upgraded to the next tier of level will probably happen when we're level 36. How much would it cost to get Weird Al Yankovic to co-create a dungeon? I don't know. We have not reached out to Mr. Yankovic, but Mr. Yankovic, if you hear this, I would be thrilled. I'm sure we could make it happen. UHF the dungeon sounds great. Okay. Going in the librarian. Yes. Yes, the Back to Basics quest with its pen and paper map is, in fact, really awesome. I would love to see us maybe even go more abstract and just do that myself. I think it's a good way to present these maps. Okay. Loot. So much of the loot. I don't know if the Standing Stones are in all Wilderness releases, although our World team sure has been kind of putting them in various places, so I guess it's turning into a little bit of a trademark or whatever. But I don't know personally where it is in Myth Drannor. It's true, bad maps are not the greatest when it comes to player retention. I think in general our maps are functional. But, as people have pointed out, there's a few areas, especially when it comes to verticality, that they've often always struggled with. Yeah, that would be a question probably for Knockback or someone about the potential of having a Raven Queen option. I don't really personally know the answer to that one. Okay, so there we go. Alright, now I need to place the seeds. Nice to get that last note, but we'll see.
throbbing pod dominates the chamber. No doubt this was part of the plan to You've placed a seed of Moanda, channeling its power into the strange pod.
So, as people know, I am a fan of, some people might know, I'm a fan of old horror movies, and particularly old European horror movies in the 70s and things like that. And there's one in particular, I'm a big fan of the rock band Goblin. And Goblin did a soundtrack for an Italian horror movie that came out around, I think, 1980, called Contamination. And the end of this quest always reminds me a little bit, for some reason, of that kind of bulbous alien thing. A little bit like the movie Contamination. Particularly the movie poster for Contamination. Which is a completely, chillingly realistic movie about a virus that makes people explode. It's also very much not realistic. All right.
Revive my life
Nice.
along with it.
I have found these chaos crawlers to be one of the more difficult foes in Myth Drannor here.
Point or another, similar scheme might succeed.
All right. Well, yep, we are at 5:02 here, and we are done with the dungeon. So why don't we call it a live stream? I'm going to be getting our Discord going in just a second, so let me go and pull up a link. All right, thanks very much for watching. Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks very much for watching there as well. Give us a subscribe if you'd like to get these videos in your feed. Like us to help spread the word about this video to others. And thank you everyone to join us in chat. We'll see you next week with more Myth Drannor questing and the latest news. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you next week. Oh, and here's a link to the Discord in chat.